Hi, hello there. This is Shines for Christ. So, this phrase has been, coming to my spirit quite a bit, and it's actually a verse from the scriptures. It says, "He that hath an ear to hear, let him hear." I just want to look with you at one of the instances in which this was said, and I'm referring to St. John chapter 11. And this was the discourse when Jesus had just finished talking to or commanding his disciples, right? And at that point, he went out to go to preach. And at the same time, John the Baptist was in prison, right? And so John was in prison, perhaps feeling some kind of way. So he sent two of his disciples to go to Jesus with a specific question. The question was, "Art thou he that should come, or should we look for another?" And of course, Jesus answered the question in typical Jesus fashion. Jesus didn't begin to roll out why he is or is not the one. Jesus basically said to them, "Go back to John and show him again the things that you see." And of course, it sounds like code language, right? But of course, when John heard the reports, of course, John would have made a decision in his heart whether or not this was the Christ. He was the one who baptized Jesus Christ. Remember? He was the one. And so what they covered was, like John would have heard the exploits of Jesus from the reports of his two disciples that he sent, right? And it's important that Jesus said to him, "Go show him again." Now, after they left to take back the report to John, Jesus began to address the people that he had gone to preach to, right? And the subject of his discourse became John the Baptist. He covered such things as, he basically, to me, Jesus just wrote John's resume. He just wrote John's resume. It's magnificent. The things that the Christ said about the forerunner. He declared John to be a turning point. He said all the law and the prophets prophesied up until the point of John. And then came John. Read it for yourself. You'll see all the things that he said, the wonderful things that the Christ said about John. And Jesus validated John to all who were there. Now, Jesus said something interesting, right? He said, it would be the last verse that I mentioned here. And he said, from the days of John the Baptist, something started to happen. He said the kingdom suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. John is a marking point, a turning point. He said all the laws and the prophets prophesied up until John. And then he said, if you will receive it, this same John that we're talking about is Elias that was for to come. And he said, he that hath an ear to hear, let him hear. Isn't it interesting that he would drop that right there? Because this was a mystery. And a mystery is something that is hidden, that you have to search, that you figure out, that you have to really try to decipher. But Jesus was saying this mystery is uncovered and it's in plain sight. All the things that would stop and start and continue at John. Now, that's why he said, he that had an ear, let him hear, because you are required to search, you are required to inquire, you are required to come to the Lord for the real truth. You are required to dig and to find the treasure of what Jesus was saying. He that hath an ear to hear, let him hear. Do you have an ear? If the Holy Spirit tells you that you do not have an ear to hear, then we need to submit our ears, our hearts, your spirits to the Lord, so that he can start cultivate a hearing ear in you. Thank you for joining. And next time we're going to look at why it was that Jesus said, this John the Baptist is Elias, which was for to come. Again, thank you for joining me. Have a good Sunday evening. Bye for now.